Hi, this is Jen Grisan of Jen Grisan Consultancy, and this is video number 2 for my upcoming product launch. Let me tell you a little bit about my product. It is a video training series on how to write the TV pilot. And what inspired this was the recognition, number one, of just how difficult it is to write the TV pilot. Number two, trying to write the type of pilot that goes outside the box. So it really is all about demystifying the pilot writing process. I knew when I started my business in January of 2008 that my primary focus of my business was going to be on how to teach writers and guide writers how to elevate their writing to a point so that their scripts could sell. And I have been very fortunate that 45 of my writers have sold pilots and 5 of them have gone to series. And it really is everything that fuels me and keeps me going, is really seeing when the aha moments hit for the writer once they learn my story system. And you should know, my story system has been developed from watching top television shows. So even though I definitely follow Joseph Campbell and am a huge believer in what has been done before, and I read every single book out there on story, and I've worked in the business for close or over 20 years now, all of that, I really wanted to put in a system so that not only the writer, but the junior level executive, the agent, the writer who wants to learn how to give notes on a script, I really wanted to create a system where everyone can learn from certainly looking at series that have done incredibly well and why they've done incredibly well, and how you can extract a formula and mimic what works so that it works for your pilot story. So I'm going to give you another glimpse in this video of one of the many, many steps that we're going to go through in the video training process on how to tell and sell your TV pilot. So what I want to go over with you, and I recognized in the last one that I didn't go over the logline formula. I went over the pitch formula, but I didn't go over the logline formula. And this is a huge part of the success of your pitch formula, of writing your script. I'm definitely a believer that if your logline doesn't work, your story doesn't work. So you want to really hone and perfect your logline before you move on to the concept and you move on to the outline and you move on to the script. So what I'm going to give you the formula. Then I'm going to give you a logline that is a personal logline. So I always like writers to start with writing what I call a logline for your life. And in this logline, you are extracting from a personal moment in your life that is revealing an emotional truth. And then I'm going to give you some loglines that are from current TV shows so you can see how the formula applies to both, and recognize that part of what I teach writers is how to draw from your emotional truth and fictionalize it into your writing. And when you write a personal logline and then you write a logline for your story and you utilize some of what you explored in your personal logline, then you're really establishing a story that only you can write, which is everything when it comes to selling your TV pilot. So the formula for a logline is setup of who, create empathy. So in the personal logline, the who is you, dilemma, action, goal, twist of irony. So again, setup of who, create empathy, and the who is you in the personal logline. In your fictional logline, the who is your central character, dilemma, action, goal, twist of irony. Now the twist of irony is not an absolutely necessary part. It certainly is an advanced part of story. So if you get the first 4 components down for your logline, that will definitely work. Okay, so example of one of my loglines, and this incorporates the internal and the external. After an ambitious yet overworked and disillusioned studio executive loses her job, she redefines her direction by opening her own company and helping others to realize their dreams while simultaneously realizing her own. So you certainly see how the end is the twist of irony. An internal logline that reflects a moment when my mom had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2013, is a saddened and distraught daughter plagued by the thought of her mom's illness must learn to calm down some of the busyness of her mind in order to be in the moment and see the beauty of the present before the time is past. So this gives you an idea of how to take from some of these moments that happen in our lives that really give us emotional depth and create our growth, which is everything when it comes to telling story. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some fictionalized versions of the logline formula to give you an idea of how to do this in the show that you are writing. Here is a logline for Breaking Bad, utilizing this formula. When Walt, a high school chemistry teacher with a wife and a handicapped son, is given a diagnosis of terminal cancer, he turns to what he knows best, chemistry, and decides to make and distribute meth in order to have something to leave his family. Now, something and I'm going to break this down for you, and then there's something else I want you to really look for in the loglines you write. So, who, a high school chemistry teacher with a wife and handicapped son. Dilemma is given a diagnosis of terminal cancer. Action, decides to make and distribute meth. Goal, in order to have something to leave his family. So that gives you an idea of how to break it down. A big thing that I look for in story is what is the adjective that is used in the description of the central character. So that adjective is really describing the void. So certainly we know Walt has a handicapped son. And then the dilemma is the diagnosis of cancer. So that immediately creates empathy and a rooting interest, and we understand the void. And then the pursuit, he's doing a bad thing for a good reason. So certainly there is a twist of irony in that. So his intention is good, and that will change in the series, but that's where it begins. So that helps to give you an idea, and then I'm going to give you one more fictionalized logline, and that is going to be for The Good Wife, and this is a series logline. So The Good Wife, the logline is a betrayed housewife must pick up the pieces after her husband's very public and political scandal lands him in jail, and she returns to the workforce to secure her family's future. So we certainly recognize that she loses a breadwinner, so that causes the void, and that happens in the setup. And then the goal is to secure her family's future. And certainly the pilot arc is going to be one step toward that goal. So we know that Alicia has to win the case because her and Carrie are up for one position at the firm. So this gives you an idea, and I'm actually going to give you a little glimpse into another handout that will be in the product. Really goes into looking at the series triggers and dilemmas as they link to the pilot trigger dilemma pursuit. So really understanding your series arc versus your pilot arc is what is going to make or break your TV pilot. And it's understanding the link between the two. What you have to recognize is that the pilot trigger and dilemma that leads to the pilot pursuit would not happen unless the series trigger and dilemma happened. So much of this, I'm going to go into video breakdowns. We're going to go into further breakdowns of shows so you get an idea of this. So the glimpse from the series trigger and dilemmas to pilot trigger dilemma pursuits handout is for a breakdown for the show Mr. Robot. The series trigger is Elliot thinks that he is being followed. He believes that it is the guys who control the guys that control the guys that play God without permission. Dilemma, who is following him and what do they want? Pilot trigger, in Elliot's day job, he is asked to help Evil Corp find out who hacked them. Pilot dilemma, he despises Evil Corp and everything they stand for. Pilot goal, bring down the evil conglomerate. Elliot's why. So really understanding the personal dilemma and what is the why of the central character. Elliot views that Evil Corp killed his father and thus stole his childhood. So this is everything that is motivating the pilot pursuit. So an ideal way to set up your series arc is to have a personal dilemma part of the external, or to have the personal dilemma be a part of the series trigger and dilemma. So that gives you an inside glimpse of looking at the log line and how we go from the log line to setting up your series arc and your pilot arc. And I'm very excited to really have the platform with this product to go through this in video and to show you in shows that have really made this work in a very positive way. So again, my product will be available hopefully by mid-October, so keep watching. Keep watching Facebook. If you're interested in signing up for my newsletter, then you know you won't miss when the product is launched. You can go to my website, which is www.jengrisanti.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter. I will also be posting it on Facebook. So I want to thank you all for joining me, and there is more to come. Thanks.